second, the 2-2. Back up the middle, a base hit. Jamon Jones will score. Baez halfway between first and second. He'll go back with an RBI single to tie game 4. Breaking ball lifted to right. Riley Green has finally come alive. Tigers lead.
In the 5 spot real quick, and now 2 more.
Baez, first playoff home run in 8 years, has put Detroit on top by 4.
Gosh, it was just a nail-biter through the first 4.5 innings over at Comerica Park. Then the Tigers' bat showed some life. The Tigers' rally was started by Dylan Dingler. Then a string of runs from the middle of the lineup with Javi Baez, Riley Green, and Baez again that brought home tying runs, then opening the floodgates for the offense. The Tigers hold off the Mariners for a 9-3 victory, sending the series for a all for the marbles Game 5 back in Seattle.
You know, going into the game, you know, we talked about it being an elimination game for us, but we also knew it was going to be a very aggressive game for them. And you know, obviously we had a comfortable lead where they weren't going to get too many more of their back end guys. But no, it didn't surprise us just because, you know, game 5 elimination games are something to avoid when you're on the lead side too when it comes to going into game 4. So we knew that Spire was going to be a part of it. Had it been closer, Brash and Munoz would have been a part of it. You know, there's no secrets when you get this deep in a series.
The experience of playoff baseball, I understand winner go home games are a little bit different, but like every game means a ton. So it's not like game 1 or game 2 or game 3 are any different than game 5, you know, in terms of wins and losses. But the game stays the game, you know, and that's kind of what you're going to hear me reiterate is I just need to be focused on, you know, being pitch by pitch and trying to execute the game plan that, you know, that we'll create.
All right, the Tigers now heading back to Seattle for Game 5. First pitch for tomorrow's game is at 8:08 in the evening. So to break it all down, Derek Hutchinson is here. He's our digital executive producer and a co-host of the sports talk show Detroit Sports Plus and our resident Tigers expert. I noticed starting at about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, maybe 2-ish, I couldn't find you in the newsroom yesterday.
Yeah. I don't know. I just disappeared into, you know, Comerica Park.
What was that game like being there in person?
The first half was, you could feel the tension,
right?
Because 3 runs felt like a steep mountain to climb with the way
right.
the offense has been playing. But as soon as they broke the seal, and it was very quick. They went from nothing to 3 straight at bats with RBI hits. So as soon as the Tigers broke the seal, it was just a party in there, and you could tell that it was the celebration that Tigers fans have been wanting to have in a home playoff game since last year when they had their hearts broken at home.
Yeah, right. Okay, so looking at the game, and looking at what the offense did, how much of that was luck and how much of that was A.J. Hinch?
Well, I don't think – it didn't seem like luck at all to me. I mean, they were hitting the ball hard. Honestly, early in the game, they were hitting the ball hard too, but they just weren't falling for hits. So A.J. Hinch pulled the right levers, like putting in Jamai Jones early. That worked out. He came through with an RBI hit. But the Tigers it took one swing. Somebody had to break the ice. And Dylan Dingler coming through with that RBI double, the Tigers were like, okay, we got on the board.
Right, it's momentum.
Exactly. And baseball is so much about that. When things are going bad, it just snowballs on you. But as soon as Dingler hit that RBI double, it kind of felt like, oh, okay. And then the hits just kept rolling.
Right. Okay, so we go to Game 5 in Seattle tomorrow. Skubal will be on the mound. How good of a thing is that for us, but does it also give us some almost too much confidence going in?
Yeah, there is a sense of calm over the fan base because you've got Skubal, but we have seen that isn't an automatic win, you know. Skubal had 2 big starts against Cleveland down the stretch in the regular season. The Tigers didn't win either of them. Obviously, Skubal started Game 2 of this series. Tigers didn't win. So it's not just Skubal. He can't do it on his own. The offense has to score. But if you're going to pick a guy, you want the best pitcher in the world to be the guy. So the nice thing about this setup is that Skubal is this sort of emotional pitcher who likes to have a chip on his shoulder, and he's going back home for this start. He's playing against a team that beat him twice in the regular season, and a team that, well, he didn't get the loss, but they won the game that he started earlier in this season. Also, last year, he started the Game 5 of the ALDS that the Tigers lost in Cleveland. So he's got a chance to kind of vanquish all of these demons in one start, so you know you're going to get the best of Skubal.
If you're AJ, do you put all your heavy hitters at the top of the rotation, or do you reserve them?
I think so. The lineup, I think he's going to stick with the same lineup.
Okay.
Because you score 9 runs, you don't really want to mess with it, right? And Seattle's going to start George Kirby. He's a right-handed pitcher, so there's no need to sort of mess with the platoon situation. Yep. I expect AJ to go with the same lineup or a very similar lineup with Kerry Carpenter at the top. Yep. Get him as many at-bats as possible. Riley Green, maybe this home run wakes him up. So, yeah, I expect all of those guys to be in about the same spot.
You know, I read some interesting commentary on some of the Facebook comments and Instagram that there are fans that are concerned that they lose the home field advantage going to Seattle.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how much that matters, A, in a game like this, but B, in a game like baseball. I mean, it's one thing for football, sometimes hockey, but baseball, it's quiet until the bat hits the ball, you know?
Yeah, I mean, the Tigers were a better home team this year during the regular season, but they just won their first home game since like mid-September. Right. They were really bad at Comerica Park at the end of the season. So, honestly, they won a series in Cleveland. They took 1 of 2 games in Seattle. So, I'm with you. I don't think it's that big of a storyline. I think there's a chance that the tension in that ballpark plays against Seattle. If the Tigers can get an early lead. There's a lot of pressure on this team to win this series. Seattle has a much better roster. They went all in at the deadline, and they're on a very long drought of losing playoff series. So there's more pressure on Seattle at this point than there is on the Tigers. So if the Tigers could get a couple runs early, I think the crowd and sort of the emotions that we felt in Comerica yesterday
could just suck it out of
shift over to the Mariners.
Okay, so we've looked at the optimistic side of things. Any concerns on your end?
Absolutely. I mean, we just saw what can happen in a Skubal start where you sort of waste the start. You know, Skubal goes 6 or 7 strong. He leaves the game, it's tied or you're trailing. Then at that point, you're relying on getting runs off of a very good Seattle bullpen. So George Kirby is a very good pitcher. It's not like the Tigers are playing some scrub. And he pitched well.
It's not like Verlander's on there.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's not Verlander, but so the Mariners are very much in this game, but I don't blame Tigers fans for feeling good when they've got their guy on the mound.
Right. Okay, Derek Hutchins, I always appreciate you, man.
Of course.
Thank you so much.